Hello everyone, Sheik here with another Transformers review, and today I'll be reviewing the Transformers Legacy United Sandstorm, and he is really cool. I do believe the character showed up in Season 3 of Transformers. I do wish in some ways that he was the Series 86 line, not that it really matters, either way he'd be year class price point. Got him at Frankensons when I got the Armada Requiem Blaster. I will say I did get a pretty good steal. I wouldn't say exactly a steal, but cheaper than retail. Normally when you buy stuff at a place like that, it's more expensive than retail. I think he was selling it for 55, maybe something. I managed to find one online for like $49.99 or something like that, plus or free shipping. That was like pretty much $50, and I was like, hey, I found this on eBay for $50. Would you be willing to part for it for that amount of money? And he was like, sure. And then I went ahead and got it because I think that's pretty cool. And it turns out I got it for $5 less than retail. I was like, well, maybe if I'm lucky, I'll get it for retail, but got it a little less than retail, so I'm actually quite pleased. Anyway, enough rambling about that. I think, especially in this pose with this backdrop, I think it looks pretty cool. Maybe he's hunting for scrap or little, I don't know, vermin that might be living on the planet of junk to put in his cage right there. I do like, I feel like Springer overdid it with all the accessories. I know it's because he's closer to a Voyager class figure, so they want to justify the leader class price point. So I understand that to a degree, but I'm glad that he only has, well, I mean, if you count the individual parts, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 accessories. But these three, when they go together, they're a cage and a winch, so that's pretty nice. And then he has just 2 guns, a small little gun that I like to put on his forearm, and then a larger black rifle. So let's take a closer look at him. Let's these things off to the side. Go ahead and take the gun off, and then take that rifle out of his hand. But he is quite orange, like orange all over. His face is pretty cool. I do like the face mask, little like gunmetal gray for his eyes and nose, and then silver for the faceplate, light blue for the eyes. And it just looks really cool. I will say, as far as his visibility, I'd say that's extremely limited, just because of how much of a backpack he has. I'm pretty sure the original toy had quite a backpack too, and he probably had a smaller backpack in the show, I'm sure. But what can you do? He's a triple changer, so there's only so many places you can hide all the vehicle mode kibble bits. Anyway, he has some more detail. Looks like, I'm not sure exactly what that's supposed to be. I know it's the top of the hood, but it looks like some sort of like little hatch detail. I do like the vents. The Abba emblem is a little hard to pick out because it's red on, it's not a super bright red, and it's on an orange backdrop, so it's kind of, it would be nice if there's some black in there to, well, make it pop a little more. But I do like how they have the orange around the lighter orange plastic, because that makes it pop a little bit more. And then the silver on the shins, which is also part of the buggy mode. And then because the orange already, like I said, it's a lot of orange, but the black kind of helps balance it out. And as far as backpack, like I said, it's big, but at least it's neat and held in place. His legs do look a little kind of piddly from the back, but from the sides and front, they look decent enough. They're a little skinny, on the skinny side on the front, but I don't care too much about that. And all 4 tires are pinned on, which I think is amazing. And the kicker is they're all rubber tires. I love that so much. So awesome. Very rare do we actually get rubber tires. I mean, pinned on, let alone rubber. I mean, Springers, at least 2 of them were pinned on, but no rubber. But man, I feel like they did a lot with this guy. His feet are obviously pretty flat, but that also has to do with transformation to a degree. Yeah, that's about it for the detail without getting too much going off into the weeds too much anymore, because, you know, got to get somewhere with this guy. But like I said, articulation for the head is fairly limited. You can look up and down. Doesn't really get much wibbly wobbly. It's very stiff ball joint, but since it's in here, since it's kind of recessed in here, you can only look back to side just a little bit. And I don't know if it's just my copy, but getting his chest to stay tabbed in, it just likes to pop out just like that. But I think I figured out kind of a trick to help keep it in place a little bit better. I'm loath to shave on any of the tabs. I don't think it's that the tabs are too big and pushing it out. It's just that there's probably just some little, I don't know, clearance issue. I don't know, just something. I don't want to make it worse. Arms go out that far. We can pretty much do the full 360, except the backpack gets in the way. Get a bicep rotation. Over 90 degree bend at the elbow. Wrist rotation. It's very stiff, but as you can see, it popped open the forearm. Get a waist rotation, although you can't get too much out of it, again, because of the kibble, but it's not too bad, because you can still get a fair amount of motion. Thigh rotation. Legs go forward that far. Back only that far, again, because of the kibble. You can do the full splits. And he gets about 90 degree bend at the knee, and then gets a fair bit of ankle tiltage, and it is fairly stiff. It's a little bit wonkier because of where it's put in place, but it is nice and stiff, and it is held in by a screw. So that's pretty much it. So I guess I would like to do helicopter mode first because, well, I think it's, in my opinion, it doesn't look as good as buggy mode, but it's easier to go from robot to buggy, from buggy to helicopter in my experience. And here we have the very, very basic buggy mode. As you can see, it doesn't look that great because there is a few more things that you can do to make it look more like a buggy. Like I said, this is based without any, I guess if you want to call it, parts forming. But before we get to that, he just rolls oh so smoothly. I love it. It's so awesome. Like I said, this is, in some ways, I think I might even like it just a smidge more than robot mode, but still really cool. But you can plug that in right there. Split these apart. And then the cage goes on over here, slides right into there. And then this, I'm not going to put it, well, I guess I'll go ahead and put it on, but because it adds a little bit of extra support in here. You don't have to have it in there because it does make it a little bit of a pain to get it back out, but it does provide some extra support, and it, I guess, cleans up the underside. But this is buggy mode as it should be, and it is awesome. And then you can put the gun right there. I think that looks really cool. And then you can put this little gun pretty much wherever you want to put it. And there it goes. And I kind of just like to put it there, keep it out of the way, and it doesn't look too bad. Not too bad at all. I think I get Mad Max vibes, which is another reason why I think having the Planet of Junk backdrop actually kind of helps out a little bit. I think the colors go together. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for the buggy mode. So let's look at the helicopter mode. And here we pretty much have him in his helicopter mode. I mean, it's not as imperative to have the other accessories for this mode, mainly just because it's also well and self-contained. I will give it that. You don't really need any of the other stuff to really make it look super cool. I have to say, I do dig this helicopter mode. Don't get me wrong. It is my least favorite mode, but it's still really cool. The rotor, I just discovered there is one way to make it look a little less awkward, is instead of doing it like, okay, hang on, let's see, how I originally did it was like this, and it just looks really bad. It's like stacked from, you know, going from each side. But when you do it like this, having them split up, it looks like two rotors stacked on top of each other. At least it looks a little closer to that than the other way to have them orientated. I do like this little tail rotor, which is kind of obvious in buggy mode, but it's still not too visible. I will say this mode probably does the best of hiding the other view modes alt mode parts, unless you consider the underneath, because then you have two big old tires right here, and then the two big old tires right there. For this mode, it does have two little orange plastic wheels, and then it just uses the car wheels to roll. So this helicopter also rolls pretty well. So I think, like I said, helicopter is my least favorite mode of this guy, but I still think it's really cool. Now, another thing you can do, of course, is to get this back into the cage configuration. I always do this. I always get it wrong first try. So just put that together and then peg that in. Plug this in right. I will say this little part, it's relatively easy to get in. It's just pretty difficult to get this out. It's so tightly in there. I will say this looks so cool, like it really cool. I mean, the only downside is I don't really have a stand, and it looks like that's the purpose of flipping that down, is to maybe be able to plug something in there. Other than that, I can't really see why they have that little hole right there, but it is something you can do. I mean, obviously it is pretty big and pretty heavy, so you can even do that like I did for the, so you can have the cage hanging. And then of course you can plug his guns on in this mode. I prefer to have the rifle further back on the forearm, and then the small one on the upper arm, so that from the front they look kind of around the same spot. So honestly, I think this is one of the best triple changers that I've seen in a while. I feel like I should have gotten out Blitzwing. I guess I do have Legacy Blitzwing. By the way, if you do want to check out my Legacy Blitzwing review, I did do one of him. Man, that was a while ago. Legacy. I think he was just Legacy before the Evolution, and now United. Like there's three. I think Legacy's pretty much done now. They're gonna do something else new, but I'm sure they're gonna continue doing this type of stuff that they've been doing. One last thing about this, obviously, is that it does come out, and it comes out quite a quite a fair distance. And then I guess let's tilt this up, and just so I imagine that he's flying and picking up cargo, and then you just spin, because there is a little place to spin it. You just spin until it's up there, and then he's flying away with his cargo. So I think that's pretty cool. Honestly, like I said, probably one of the ones I look forward to opening the most. The color scheme, like I said, it's very bright. It's orange. Don't get me wrong, I do like orange. I do have quite a bit of orange stuff. Like I have an orange bike, an orange kayak. So why not an orange helicopter triple changer Autobot? And that's about it for Transformers Legacy United Sandstorm. And if you like this review and you'd like to see more, please click that like and subscribe button to see more. Until next time, have a good one, everyone.